Sandy Battin retired as the editor of the Valencia County News-Bulletin in 2009. Her first stint at the News-Bulletin was as a teenager when the publisher at the time, Carter Wade, a NMPA Hall of Fame member, asked Sandy to write articles about news at the high school for the paper. After her high school graduation, Battin was offered a full-time summer position with the newspaper. But she wanted to continue with her education and enrolled at the University of New Mexico, earning her journalism degree in 1973. Something that Sandy is very proud of is being the first reporter to ever cover women's sports for the Daily Lobo, UNM's student newspaper. After graduation, she was hired by the Journal to cover state district courts. When Sandy's husband, Buck Battin, took a job as news director at a Minnesota television station, she made the move with him, taking a position at the Duluth News-Tribune. After 8 years in the Great White North, it was time to return to New Mexico. Sandy was hired by the News-Bulletin in 1990 as a reporter. In 1995, she was asked to take over as editor. During her nearly 20 years with the local newspaper, Sandy saw many things change. She also helped implement separate arts and lifestyle sections and expand the sports section. She personified the commitment and care it takes to be a community journalist and the importance of the craft.
Probably in about the 5th grade, I decided I liked to write, and journalism seemed a good thing. Plus, I liked social studies and always read the Albuquerque Tribune. And I read every story on the front page so that I could learn how a news story was put together. I especially loved feature stories. I loved sharing people's information, the tales of their lives, and I really enjoyed covering a lot of the hard news stories we had, and those were always very exciting to cover, interesting, and loved talking to as many people as possible. Idea that you covered everything. You know, you'd be doing a story on 100th birthday, and then you'd be doing a story on why the city had financial problems, and it was just something different every day. It really had something for everyone, and it was where journalism hits home. And I always listened, and about half of the people I talked to called it our newspaper. And I don't think you get that in the big cities. They considered this their newspaper. Number one, to be fair and to be accurate, because today we have so many people criticizing us in this industry, and we always talked about that, being fair, and we were just blessed with the most amazing people who found their way to us. It was wonderful. Well, I'm pretty shocked. And it's an amazing honor, and I appreciate it.
And she's always there. She's always been there for this community. That's why she deserves this honor. She is the best journalist that I've ever known. She gave of her heart. She gave of her soul. She taught so many of us what it means to be a journalist, to be a community journalist.
Sandy Battin was a community newspaper publisher's dream. She was really sound in her judgment. She was empathetic, but firm. She had qualities that are very hard to have that kind of combination of traits for a newspaper editor, especially community newspaper editor.
My favorite Sandy Battin story, it happened 25 years ago or so when I was a publisher of the News-Bulletin. And I still remember we had 30 minutes before deadline, and this little lady came in. She must have been 90 years old, 4 foot tall, and she had this paper in her hand, and it was her 50th wedding anniversary, and she had a photo. She said, "It had to get in the paper this week." And I said, her name was Mrs. Garcia. I said, "Mrs. Garcia, there's no way we can make the deadline. We're 30 minutes from out putting the paper." And she said, "It has to run." I said, "Let's put it in Wednesday's paper." She said, "No, it's got to go in immediately." And she goes, "Where's Sandy?" And Sandy came up and she said, what do you have, Mrs. Garcia?" And it was single space, cursive writing, 2 pages. And Sandy took her to her desk. She sat down with her. She put the whole thing in. And I don't know how she did it because the paper was done, but she found a 10-inch hole and she put the photo in the story, and Mrs. Garcia was pleased as punch at that point. But then I saw her get up and she took a beeline to my office and she looked in and she said, "Mr. Baker?" And I go, "Yes." And she goes, "You're useless. You should make Sandy the boss." And I still remember that day. So congratulations, Sandy. This is a wonderful honor, a great tribute, and I'm just so happy for you.
One day we were driving to lunch, and as we were driving down the street, she said, "I've been in that house, I've been in that house, I've been in that house," and I was doing the same thing. We were amazed at how much contact we had with the community, and that's what a community newspaper is all about, is that contact with the community. And I'm so thrilled that she's being honored with this honor, because she understands community newspapers. And in New Mexico, that's what newspapers are. Even though we have the Journal, it's all about the communities and how important newspapers are to those communities.
Hi, Sandy. Congratulations on being inducted into the Press Association's Hall of Fame. It's long overdue. As an editor, Sandy had the ability, not just with me, but with all of her reporters, she could really hone in on what that person was really good at, what we excelled at. And she always made a point of telling us that, as much as she taught us all how important we were to the community, she always made sure to communicate to us that we were important to her, that we as people mattered. And that is a tremendous gift to a reporter, to know that we matter. So, thank you, Sandy.
Sandy, I love you. I'm so happy for you to receive this honor. Like I said, it's long overdue, but I don't have enough words to describe all of the times we had together, and I just thank you so much. It was an honor to serve with you.
I'm so happy for you, Sandy. I know that you didn't want this, but you deserve this. So congratulations, and we love you. I love you. Thank you for everything.